See Indy, and today we're going to be reviewing the Courtship. This is episode 10, and this is going to be called Carousel of Events. Okay, so did you guys watch this? Listen, I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated with the show. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so bad I have to wear my glasses today because I got too many notes. So just like get yourself something to eat, something to drink, sit back because this is not gonna be like your little 5 minute review today. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start off. So Lincoln is back in the gentleman's lounge and he is, basically expressing his disappointment. Listen, guys, we're on live. So sometimes you're going to see some of the back, the magic, like duct tape or paper tape and stuff like that. So anyway, he starts basically complaining about he's upset that, or not upset, but he doesn't like it that basically somebody spilled his tea. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, hi. Oh, my goodness. From Europe. Girl, hello. How are you? You know what? I just forgot. Let me put on my... I don't know, you probably couldn't even hear me very well. I forgot to put on my microphone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Where are you tuning in from in Europe? Oh my goodness, so far away. Hold on, guys. So unprofessional, right? This is how it happens a little bit organically around here. Okay, 1 second. I'm sorry about that. I totally forgot about it. Sometimes I just get so excited to talk, you just like don't even pay attention. Oh, from the Netherlands. Cool. Thank you so much for joining me. So you must be watching that on on a streaming service or something like that, because I can only imagine that's not easy to. They don't show American shows, but I know a lot of people from the UK will tune in on other people's channels, like for like different shows and stuff. But thank you so much for tuning in. I don't even know what time it is over there, girl, but thank you. So, okay. So let me get back to my point because I'm very good to get distracted. So anyway, they're in the gentleman's lounge, yeah, and he's upset because, or a little bit mad about the fact that somebody told her that, I'd rather not discuss how I got, all right, we'll leave that one for another episode, Leah. And so finally, they're going around the room and they're like, well, I didn't say anything. It wasn't me. And the next thing you know, finally, Nazari like kind of looks up. He's like, well, actually, it was me, right? So, I mean, we all knew it was him, but I was wondering if he was going to like really, kind of sit there and try and pretend like he didn't say anything. But, he's playing his position and you can't blame him, right? Because if you're there competing, you're not there to be buddies with the guys. And I'm on Danny B's side about that. So anyway, yeah, so then Lincoln's like, why did you say that? It's supposed to be like a men's group or something like. This guy is so stupid, right? You're on national television. And not only that, you know how production is. I mean, they're always going to, come in and try and create some kind of little whatever, some sort of little scandal or stuff like that. So, they're going to take your words and replay them later. I mean, let's not even act. He's just so stupid. Lincoln just gets on my nerves. So anyway, so then the family gets together and they all sit down and basically say, listen, we're going to talk to the guys individually and we need to get some of these hard conversations out. And they're talking about this, collectively as a family. And, I didn't know, being as though this show is the first show kind of its kind. I mean, you had like The Bachelorette. And remember, if you guys didn't watch The Bachelorette, it was, just years and years of campaigning to try and get more people of color on there, whatever your ethnic background is. I mean, it was just so few and far in between. So now that they're doing this sort of Bachelorette style, but not necessarily Bachelorette, I didn't know if they were going to address it or not. So they did. Basically, they said, listen, we need to meet up with these guys and their family. Well, the dad is Haitian, originally from Haiti, but lives in America now. And the mom, I don't know what her background is. She identifies as Black. She's obviously of some kind of mixed heritage or whatever, but she identifies as Black American and her dad is obviously Black. So they identify as a Black American family and they want to know how these different suitors, their families will respond to that. So, it's obviously, it's very fair and, it's a serious conversation to be had. So, So then the family says, okay, we're going to be the ones that are going to choose your date for tonight. So they start off, and first they had like this kind of carnival night, and it was really gorgeous. Oh my God. Just for a second, the carousel, like, I mean, it was so beautiful, just like all the pastel colors, and it was so pretty. Like, I mean, honestly, it made me want to like run out. It was giving me ideas like to make a blouse or maybe knit another sweater or something. You know me, I'm always knitting. By the way, this is another one of the sweaters that I knitted. This is like a more of a Victorian age type pattern, you know. And it, well, maybe you can see it a little bit better with the ruffle. There it is, like that. Yeah. So I like all the historical clothing for people that don't know. So, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it keeps me busy, Leah. It keeps me very, very busy in between all this stuff. So, yeah, so yeah, I really just enjoyed the colors and things like that. I did like her dress later on. Some of the dresses I feel look a little costumey, but you know, it's not. I need to stop it with all this historical accuracy already. So anyway, so they're having fun. I mean, there's acrobats and like they have like the fire batons and all that stuff. It was really, really pretty, right? With the background of the castle. And so yeah, so then there's a psychic there and she's gonna help them read the tea leaves. So she's having different tea leaf reading sessions with each person. So before we get into that, so the dad or Mr. Remy wants to know basically, yes, yeah. It is like Bridgerton, right? Because it's well, they in the States they say it's a cross, or the way it's always described as is Bridgerton meets The Bachelorette, and it's basically like a Bridgerton type of background. I mean, I don't know exactly what the year Bridgerton is supposed to be, and I don't know if that's Regency or not. But yeah, plus the dating concept of it, or the eliminations. So her dad asks Danny if he thinks that he's going to be able to marry, if he can envision himself marrying her. Basically, he wants to see where he's at, because remember the first time that her dad spoke to him, he was basically saying, well, I'm here for the experience and I can't promise that I'll fall in love and stuff like that. And that was a red flag for the parents. Now halfway, I understand, as you all know, I'm in New York. I definitely can relate to his realness, you know what I mean? But I do still feel like I am worried that Danny is not completely in it, and it may be more of a competition thing. You know what I mean? More like I'm going to beat these guys kind of thing. I still have that with Danny for some reason, but now Danny's changing his tune. He was like, you know what? I think now I might be able to see it. And I said, oh, okay. Oh, hey, and listen, by the way, for anyone else who's out there listening, I know Leah, you're on here. If there's any issues with my sound, please let me know, because I don't always know. What is that? Okay, I feel like Danny B is not that into her, but smart enough. Yeah, that is, yes. Now see, yes, Danny B has the smarts. Lincoln has the looks. Now Danny B is a nice looking guy too, right? But he's got like those kind of Roman sort of features or whatever, versus Lincoln has more of that like kind of more of I would say more of like a Northwestern, a European type look, right? Okay. Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. She said the sound is okay. Because listen, I apologize the other week, guys. Man, I must have sounded like I was doing the review just like, because I didn't realize the sound was so screwed up. And somebody was like, oh, I like your review, but your sound is so bad. So anyway, thank you for the feedback. So anyway, yeah, so Danny has changed his tune all of a sudden, right? So I'm not really trusting that. Now, so now the mom meets with Mr. Cones, and Mr. Cones is, he's an IT support manager, which is his career, but I really like his personality. I love Mr. Judge for her, but I really do like Mr. Cones. I think he could be another good one, but I don't know if she's into him that much. And he has just brought so much like positivity and stuff like that, right? You love Mr. Cones too, right? I mean, he's just a nice guy. Now, I'm still wondering if like really she's trying to be polite, but in her head she's like, oh, he's bi, I can't do it. I'm wondering if that is her. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh Leah, we're gonna get into the normal. Yes, we're gonna get into that, because that's where my frustration came in with her. I'm getting ahead of myself, but yes, we're gonna get to that, girl. You just hang on a second. So, So yeah, so she's talking to Mr. Combs, and so her mom was the first person to say, like, hey, we're a black family. How do you relate to this? What is your experience? And he was like, oh, I'm good. He was like, my mom's Afro-Brazilian. I got this, like, it's not going to be a problem. Now, just because his mother is Afro-Brazilian does not mean that he's necessarily so woke or whatever. But I don't really care if his mother if his stepmom is Afro-Brazilian or not. That doesn't matter to me. I feel like just from what we've seen, and it's so brief and it's so hard to know when you're in certain situations. But I just feel like he would be totally fine in an interracial relationship. Plus, he grew up in Los Angeles. Combs is like moving up the ladder for me. I mean, he's like the dude. I really, really like him. So, and I like I feel that just for him, genuinely, that he would be okay. So who's next? So then Miss Remy sits down with Nazir, and they had the tea reading, and that was positive or whatever. She didn't say anything, too, crazy or anything. The next one was with Danny B, and she's saying to Danny B, you need to let go of the past. And, okay, very lucky guess. Surprise, surprise, I am not into psychics, okay? I mean, I know it's fun for a party, but I personally do not believe in that. I do not think people can read the future, because if you can read the future, then you can tell me how I need to make some more money, because I can use some more money anyway. So, he's saying he's not into psychics. He doesn't really believe in that, but, he doesn't want to get clouded in his head with these, sort of subliminal messages and start, acting accordingly. But I just feel, again, that he's not totally ready for this. I just don't. So who's next? So then, okay, so Dominique, the brother, meets with Mr. Judge. And when Dominique asked Mr. Judge this question, about, how is your family gonna, basically, would they accept us? Would they accept Nicole and stuff like that? And I felt like, even though, Combs is great and everything, I felt like Judge's answer probably was like the absolute most honest for someone in that situation. He's from a very small town in Michigan. I mean, Michigan towns can be just like, so small. I have family in Michigan. I mean, some of those towns, like, they're just not even on the map. And I know what a small, not so diverse, mostly white town in Michigan looks like. And, it can be, it can be like, especially on the political spectrum, especially, after the last election, or not this current, but, back in 2016. Yeah, Michigan was real, like, it can be. So, I mean, I was a little bit worried about what his answer was going to be, though I felt it was very honest. Now, I was wondering with him, I've been saying before, Mr. Judge, I mean, he looks like he has, some kind of background. I don't know, maybe something. He looked like he may have been mixed with something. I don't know. So I was wondering in that moment, if he was going to say, oh, well, actually, my mom is from Syria, or actually, whatever, something like that. I was wondering if we were going to get some more information, but apparently not. So I guess he is white American. I guess he identifies that way, or at least grew up in a family like that. So for him, I think it would be a lot of learning to do, and it's a lot. I mean, when you're like to that age already and you've never been in an interracial relationship, it can be a lot to learn. It can be heavy at times. So, I mean, these are just, honest conversations, basically, right? But I still think that regardless, listen, I'm married to someone, my husband's family, they're from Japan. That is a completely and totally different culture than both the Native American and Black American cultures that I was surrounded by growing up, right? It's totally different. So, but that doesn't mean that just because he cannot understand some of my experiences, that we can't make it work. So I don't think it's a strike against him. I just think he just doesn't have the experience, just like he said. So, but you got to be able to put in the time and the work, sometimes to understand why when your wife comes home and she's upset because someone told her X, Y, and Z, and you're like, wait a minute, well, what's so wrong with that? And you're like, no, these are certain words that people say when they really mean that, but they can only say this because they don't want to get in trouble. So that's where the sensitivity can come in with like trying to learn someone else's culture. But he's willing and he's open. So that's with Mr. Judge. that he's willing to learn. So Nazaire meets up with the sister, and let's see. Oh, so he tells that he tells Remy's sister that his ex-girlfriend apparently had some sort of family clash with his family. Now, I mean, that's kind of interesting, but I almost wondered if he was trying to make it seem like, he comes from this family and she's from that family. I really wondered if he was like trying to like make himself seem a little bit aristocratic. You know what I mean? I was just wondering. I don't know. I don't know. But he says that the divide happened between them and everything. She's not, Mr. Ned probably not. Well, he is. Probably he is. I mean, that's like he just seems like every day. Every drink is a pinky in the air kind of situation. he just doesn't seem very genuine to me. I just I see. I mean, I'm sure like once he's around people he's comfortable with, he's probably okay. But just seems like when he's around other people that he doesn't know, he's always trying to kind of show like, look at me, look how I was raised, and look what schools I went to. He just really gives me that, So and then I was calling BS with that whole girlfriend family feud kind of situation, because he said he was 19. All right. So how serious is a relationship when you're 19? Yeah. Social. Yeah. Social life. Probably. Yeah. If they had one of those, they had one of those shows called like the Housewives or whatever, or House Husbands or something, like that would be him. He's like a socialite. That's actually a very good way to describe him. Absolutely. So who do we have next? Okay, yeah, so that was Nazaire. And then let's see who we have after Nazaire. Then we have, so this is when she meets up with Lincoln. So they're at the tea leaf reader, and the tea leaf reader goes, she opens up her little cup and she goes, there's only half a heart here. And Nicole is just buying all this BS, right? And it's like, oh God, basically the point with rich parents, good. Listen, let me tell you, basically unemployed with rich parents, good riddance. Listen, honey, let me tell you, you need to be making some kind of money, some kind of something, especially if you're going to have a long distance relationship. I mean, see, now Combs possibly could work because he's in IT and he doesn't have the foreign travel, international travel to worry about. But if you're going to get with one of these guys that's over here in Europe, I mean, somebody's going to need to have some money someplace. And, that inheritance, I mean, maybe it can run out unless, someone has lands and titles, maybe he's one of those. Nazaire's acting like he is, the direct descendancy from Napoleon or something, whatever. So anyway, so yeah, they're doing that tea leaf special. Is Nicole also in IT? Yeah, she is also in IT. I do believe that. But see, that might be another thing for her when we start going a little bit later into her preferences for normalcy. That might be too normal for her. She might think IT is like not her thing. That's actually a good point, Leah. I didn't think about that, especially as I just literally stopped. I'm fresh off the episode. I just finished watching this like maybe 15 minutes ago because I wanted to come in here like hot with all my opinions so I don't forget anything overnight when I go to sleep. So so basically he's still saying, in the confessionals on the side, I'm not ready for this. I don't know. And she's still buying it, right? And so now Cones and Remy, they do their tea leaf reading and it's all positive. And she's talking about, how he can make her laugh and stuff like that. And, he is a funny guy, or, I mean, I don't know that he's like laugh out loud funny, but he's humorous and, he seems to very much enjoy life in a lot of ways. And I really, really like that about Cones. And Cones is, he's a big, tall guy. I mean, usually, being tall usually doesn't lose you any points. You know what I mean? So anyway, okay. So now it's a tearful goodbye because Dom has to leave. And then, all right. So now Judge has been chosen by Mr. and Mrs. Remy to be on the date to be on the date with Nicole. So they decide to go apple picking. And as they're apple picking, she's saying that, you know what? I like him, but he seems a little safe. I don't know. And I'm like, okay, listen. Nicole, I've been up in your corner up until the very, listen. But let me tell you something, okay? You do not have people coming, flying overseas, leaving newborn babies that are about to be born or whatever, like to be messing around with this. I don't want the safe bet. If you don't want the safe bet, then like just find somebody on your own, right? The whole reason you're doing this, where you're having a court, help you decide, is so that you get that proper person. Now, listen, does, Judge make as much money as I would like for him to make to be able to be with her? Probably not, but he still has a good job. He's a stand-up guy. I mean, we're just going by what we see. I'm not talking about what's on Twitter or anything. I don't know. I haven't followed any of that. We're just going strictly based off of what we see on film. He seems to be such a good guy for her. And I mean, but the most other than just like his characteristics, he's so into her, right? I mean, and I feel like he is showing that he really wants to be with her. I mean, I'm still a little bit salty about him, his little speech that he had for that dinner party that night that Danny B crashed. I mean, I was like, what is that all about? I wanted to hear his story. I know he comes from a troubled background with his mom and her addiction and stuff like that. I want to hear more about that. The other thing about Judge that I think is like just makes him like a winner chicken dinner is the fact that the boy doesn't have a lot of family and he wants to be part of a family. They're a close-knit family and they're a very open, warm, loving family. They would embrace him so well. I mean, I just think this is just my bias anyway, but even if I didn't want her to be with Judge, just sitting there hearing her say, this, like the guy's, he's a total package. What do you mean? He's too safe. That's too safe. Listen, okay, I don't know what we're talking about here. Maybe she's been invited to a whole lot of Hollywood parties and she's used to these whatevers, because I'm telling you, in Seattle, where she lives, / Tacoma, people like Judge are not walking down the street. Now, yes, you do have a lot of tall men here because we have a pretty large, I would say a large portion of the white Americans here are descendants of Norwegian and Swedish farmers that came here in the 1800s. It was like some program, they were stealing Indian land, the government was, and giving it to the farmers to raise the land or whatever. So, I do always like to acknowledge that we are here in Seattle on the territory of the Duwamish people who are still here. They are not dead. They are a living active tribe. But going back to what she's saying is safe and like what kind of guys here locally, just to give you guys an idea if you've never been to Seattle, they do not look like Mr. Judge walking down the street. Now, they don't look like Chapman either, that kind of look, even though Chapman has a little bit more of a look closer to, but he's just very, these are very handsome men. Women typically are not typically, but women can be quite nice looking. And even if we're not, we can put on makeup, hair, nails, we can make ourselves, guys don't have as many options in that. So with guys, it's more of you can do a nice haircut, a nice beard, but guys usually are it's more of a genetic jackpot with guys if they're good looking, right? So the average guy walking down the street does not look like those men, right? I mean, it's easier to find a Nicole than it is to find like a Mr. Chapman walking down the street. So I just was like, my mind was blown. I'm like, you got a full package right here. It's not like, this Seattle is so full of guys like that, so you're just bored with them. Like, I was really confused in that moment. Then I was like, okay, she has definitely exhibited some very, kind of like, fantasy. I mean, well, this is like a fantasy sort of, process, right? To find the fairy tale. And she kind of is in that fairy tale thing a little bit. But, you have to still be grounded in reality that, hey, at the end of the day, once the cameras go off, if you really truly are looking for a partner, then, you got to be able to fit certain criteria, meet certain standards and things like that. So I'm just like, they found these guys for you. They're right here. I just don't understand why she was being quite that picky. But I don't know. We haven't seen her exes. So maybe she's used to always dating 10s. I don't know. Maybe it just didn't. When he's sitting there and picking those apples and showing her that little apple that's shaped like a cherry, and I'm like, girl, if you don't go ahead and snatch that up. But anyway, I was like, what's the matter with you? Like that scene in Moonstruck. You guys ever see it with Cher? She's like, snap out of it, right? So anyway, all right, I'm done with that. Okay. So now she sits down with Nazir, and she asks him about his commitment. And he's, basically hemming and hawing about his job, and oh, he makes it seem basically like he works like 24 hours a day, which is some BS. I don't believe that. I'm just not sure. We'll see how this grows. So these people that are on here to increase their public profiles, get clout, Instagram followers, modeling contracts, whatever. They need to do a better job at eliminating. I mean, I know this is TV and it's fun and everything, but I'm still like, my heart wants to believe that they're still in it really for marriages, and that we want to believe that. We want to believe that we're really witnessing an actual courtship here, right? And in that case, you want to see people that are genuine, not like these just people that are on here just, I don't know, like they brought him in, and they marched him in like he was going to be this shiny new toy that was going to throw everything off, and have all these good looks and stuff like that. But he was full of shit from the moment that he got on there. Anyway, so okay, so then, all right, now it's dance card time. Oh my God. And who does she put on this dance card? Nazir and Judge. She leaves Combs and Lincoln, of all people, and Danny B. Now, if anybody should have been on the elimination list, it should have been Danny B. Now, listen, I'm starting to wonder, some of you guys have been tuning in, chatting, or chiming in, in the comment section about some of your predictions. And I'm starting to wonder too if, in regards to some of you guys' predictions, if Judge is going to be the one at the end, because the way that they keep putting him in the dance card segment when it doesn't seem like he's doing anything wrong. It doesn't seem like she's not attracted to him. Like, remember when he first came on the scene, she was looking at him like he was a sirloin beef steak or something. I mean, she was so into him, but now it's like, oh, he's too safe of a bet. So I'm wondering if this is because, listen, production is always going to play their games with us. So we always have to be prepared for that. So I'm wondering if that's why he was on the dance card yet again. No one has been on the dance card more often than Judge. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So anyway, she's acting like, it's like this big build up, and she's about to let him go. And I really thought she was about to let him go. And I was like, you better not let him go. You better not let him go. But lo and behold, it was all for drama. And she was like, she's dancing. She's like, okay, well, usually I see the safe bet, but, I get so bored with that. And I just want to make sure that you're the one and you're putting all the time. Listen, I was like so frustrated with her in that moment because, okay, first let me just get to Nazir. Let me go back to Judge for a second. She got rid of Judge, and she did the right thing, and she was using her head in that time, in that particular moment, and that's pretty good, right? They put a good twist. I know, didn't they? I know. I was like were you not on the edge of your seat? Like, you better not, girl, you better not do it. Okay, so going back to Judge, what I want to finish saying about him was that I feel like, to ask a person like, I don't know, like, there's certain things that, okay, when you go into a relationship, you do have to be willing to be flexible and change some things, right? But like changing the core fundamental of who a person is, like, that's not going to work in a relationship, right? So if you believe it, like, let's just say, I don't know, we'll take something very, like drastic here, because right now we are dealing with women's rights being basically up for grabs here in the United States. We think it's like, the 1800s or something. It's so crazy with the abortion issue. So let's say that, and for you guys, just, full disclosure, I'm a feminist. I choose my own rights for my own body. No one else, especially a man, should not be involved in that. So me feeling like that, let's say I meet someone and the person is anti-abortion. The man is anti-abortion. There's no way we're going to make that work. Okay. Like, I mean, and maybe it's some, wonderful reality, alternate reality. This person could come over to my side I'm definitely not going over to your side because you're not going to control my body. So that's the way I see it, right? So I can't ask a person to come over to my side and be like, okay, this is my argument for abortion, blah, 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 because some things are just part of like the way they grew up or whatever. And I'm not going to be able to change that. And I don't need to be here trying to change your mind to that extent. So now that is a very extreme case that I'm speaking of, but not something so off the wall because we are currently dealing with that in our country here right now. So going back to Judge, when she said that, I just want you to be more this and more that and more that. That's not who he is. The boy told you he comes from a town of like, I don't know, 26 people or whatever. No, it's like a couple of hundred. But, when someone comes from a town of like less than 500 people, I know that's hard for her to get her mind around because she's used to more of a city environment. There's certain things he's not going to be able to change. So if she wants him to be going on here and there, and he's like, okay, well, we can take trips. And I felt like he was kind of conforming in that moment. And I feel like that's not the way to do it. Now, listen, if you're a person who likes to travel, a lot of couples like this, one person loves to travel, the other person likes to be at home. The one person loves to go for hikes, the other person likes to be at home on the computer, right? So I feel like these sort of things you have to find some sort of compromise with, but you can't expect a person who just loves to stay at home and be online all day to be like out there doing hikes every weekend. That's not going to happen. Or at least you shouldn't expect that to happen. If it does happen, let that happen like, naturally on the own person's timeline or whatever, right? So this is where I don't agree. So basically, I feel like she's trying to make him be something that she wants from the other guys. Listen, if you're going for a monogamous situation, then this is what it is, right? You can't listen. Nobody's got every quality in one person. It just doesn't happen. But since she's seeing like this one over here makes her smile, this one, makes her, gets the brow moist. This one over here is really great at joking. This one's a good provider or whatever. Then you have to kind of like realize that they're all different people, right? So you just have to take your time and see what person has the most and the best qualities that are important for you in that one person. And like I said, if you're going to do a monogamous, let me see. I don't want to miss your comment here. Let me see what the comment was. Almost missed the comment, live chat. Okay, what'd you say? Hallmark should cast Mr. Jez as a hometown boy, teaches a city woman the true meaning of Christmas. Oh my God, that's yes, that's very funny. That's very true. That is so true. Oh my God, girl, you have me cracking up over here. But yeah, so let me get back. It's too funny because if you guys have ever watched those Hallmark movies, they're so perfect. And like you can literally insert that guy into like a Hallmark or a Lifetime movie. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe more Lifetime, girl, because Hallmark, they don't even like him that tan. He's probably got a little too much color for Hallmark. Anyway, I'm being shady and petty right now. Okay, but honest. All right. So, all right. So yeah, after that near heart attack that she almost gave me, like she was going to axe Judge, she then, what did she say? She was, oh, okay. Oh, I know what I wanted to say to you guys. Listen. Okay. There was so much. I have to like look at my notes because I can't even remember all of this. So what I was waiting for when Nizel left and he was like, okay, say goodbye to the fellas. I was waiting in that moment for him to spill that tea on Lincoln. Were you guys waiting for that? Because we already know he's petty and messy and shady, right? So why not, in that moment, take that time to basically reveal what she does not know about this man. I mean, she knows he's not ready for a relationship, but she doesn't realize that he's acting like he's basically saying to her, like, yeah, I'm coming around, right? I'm getting there. We'll see what happens, right? He just wants to hang on to the very end so he can like solidify a nice little modeling gig. And then he like, I don't know, he'll have gas money for that van for the next 8 months. I don't know. But he wants something that has nothing to do with this girl and her heart. When he has said on multiple occasions that he really feels as though she is falling in love with him, and told the guys, I know, I'm just definitely not there, and I don't know if I'll ever be there. And he told the guys that, when they were talking about living together, he was like, yeah, well, maybe she can like come hang out in the van for a couple of days, but no, you're not sharing my 5x5. This is all mine. This is my castle. This is my palace over here. What'd you say? What'd she say? She's drowning in them blue eyes. I know. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Somebody else said that too. Like, yeah, because he's got those deep blue eyes, and she's just like, ooh, and his curls and stuff like that. He's a nice looking guy. And I really just thought that she was a little bit thinking, I don't know. I just thought she was smarter than that. I mean, just all right. So now let's get to let's move on here, because Nazaire did not use that moment. That was his prime opportunity, right? Missed chance, missed opportunity. But anyway, to be messy. So anyway, next thing we know, here comes a disheveled Mr. Chapman. It does make for good drama, with his button, his shirt all unbuttoned, his, coat over his, shoulder, and coming in stumbling, looking drunk, basically. And here she is, in her boudoir, she's like a lady in waiting with like all her, bedtime attire on. Let him in her bed the second time. Now, I was like, all right, listen, this should have been off camera. All right. I mean, because now it has made me feel as though I'm not really trusting this process anymore, because if you just want like late night booty calls, that's all he's going to be, is a long distance late night booty call. Can you drive? Can you fly in? Blah, blah, blah. So-and-so place. Let me check my GPS. I'm over at the service station in Dayton, for the next 2 days. Hopefully the campgrounds are clean. I'm just not understanding, where her mindset is. So I'm thinking she really wants the chivalry. She wants the marriage. She wants the kids. She wants what her brother has. She wants what her parents have created. And I'm just not sure if that's really what she wants. Now she's talking about, like, you're wondering if, oh, hi, AC. How are you? I'm wondering if it's more than a second time, but production. Listen, the way he came in there was like, he already knew how to get in there. Like, listen, I know one time you can kind of figure things out, but he doesn't look like he's got a great memory to me. So it seems like he probably already knew, right? I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. So, yeah, when they left the scene like that, and she's like, here you go, like opening up the sheets, letting him in her bed. I was like, girl, here I am making these reviews. I'm trying to get you married. Right? I was yelling at the screen too, because I was like, what the hell is the matter with you? Like, we are invested. No. Remember, did you guys, okay, I don't know if you guys were Game of Thrones watchers, but the last season, or the very last episode, when everything was done, a lot of people were so disappointed, because they had been reading these books for 20 years and finally waiting for these shows, and waiting 3 years between seasons. And it was such a major letdown. And that's how I felt, I felt like, girl, I'm over here, staying up late at night, doing all this stuff. I'm rooting for you. Remember Tyra Banks in America's Next Top Model? I was rooting for you. I was so let down. I was hurt, like I was dating Nicole. I mean, it was crazy. So I figure, all right, now that she has there's no way she can say that there was no sampling of the goods. I'm not believing that, because come on, 2 times already. Let's hope that letter next episode is going to stir. So, was there a letter? I didn't see, you know what? Oh my God, I have to go back and watch the previews for next episode. I didn't see anything about a letter. Oh, was there? Oh, well, that should be good. Now, who's that letter supposed to be from? Because I didn't see anything about that. Well, hopefully Nazaire, maybe Nazaire, maybe he did finally have his last hurrah and plant something in the house someplace. I mean, that would be smart of him, right? Especially if you just want to get on TV, they'll remember you one episode afterwards if you start up, some trouble. So, I don't know. Oh God, I'm glad you ladies are on here because I had to like, I'm still, because like I said, I just finished watching the episode, so I'm still decompressing. So, oh, so you think it's going to be Mr. Combs is going to be there in the end? That would be a very good choice for her. I mean, a very good choice. I know a lot of people want Danny B. And listen, if Danny B just was not so like, the assholery kind of thing, like I said, that's just a regional thing. A lot of men are like that in that area. I mean, as long as you're not being like out or directly disrespectful or something like that. But if they have more of that kind of very direct way of speaking, that doesn't bother me. But he just seems like he's not really in it. And Danny B or Mr. Judge, yes. So I think AC, I think you and I had spoken about that in the comment section, right? Because I agree that those would be the two that would be like the last two standing. Danny B, it really, I mean, that was her very first kiss. And obviously for her, physical connection is something like she's not the type that can like, kiss and be like, oh, I'm just done with you or whatever. I think for her, she's still like kind of a girly girl in that sense, right? The author of the letter. Yeah. I think that I don't know, she just might pick Danny B in the end. I kind of like, if I had my money on it, I think that there's like, maybe like a 60% chance that she would pick Danny B. And Mr. Judge, I don't know. I mean, I want him, but I don't know if she wants him like that. So I'm looking at maybe like I don't know, 40% chance. We'll see what happens with that. But so do you guys think that the family's going to find out about all this, late night, we call it teepee creeping where I'm from, but like sneaking in somebody's bed at nighttime. Do you think the family's going to confront her? Do you think they're going to show like her mom finding out about it? Do we think that the guys are going to find out about him again? Because if the guys find out, yeah, I hope they find out too. Because remember how upset they were the first time that they found out? So hopefully that can stir some feathers. But just for the drama, oh yeah, for sure. They need to sit her down. Like, listen, if you're my family member, if Leah, if I hope I'm saying your name right, if you're my sister, okay, and you say, listen, I'm going to go on this reality show, because my picker is off. I'm not good at picking guys. Let me just go find somebody, do this process, and I'm going to trust you and mom and dad to help me out. And I'm like, okay, well, what's this going to involve? Well, you're going to have to like cross an ocean and like get your passport stamped in order to do this. Oh, so you mean I got to take out time out of work? I'm really going to be invested in this process. Okay, but you're my sister. Sure, I love you. I'm going to do this. For me to do all that, and then here you are sleeping with some guy from, I don't know what state he's from. You could have met him like here in the States, like that kind of guy living in a van, and he probably has like a vlog or something that he does out of his van. You could have met that guy like in Arkansas. You don't have to cross the ocean for that. And that's what gets me very frustrated when we watch these programs, these dating shows, because you see people that you feel like, hey, I mean, listen, if you're in this process, it's because you need help, right? So if people are going, Dusty Chapman, oh yes, the dust is real. We have to get out the Hoover for Chapman. He is a Dusty, right? Oh my God, he is a Dusty. There have been some Dusties on a couple of these different shows, but I just feel like you've eliminated people of quality. Now I understand connection is important, and marriage is different for different people. People get married for many different reasons, but if everyone is an adult, they're of age, consensual, of sound mind, then they have their agreement, however it works. Each marriage is individual. Now, some people will marry more for resources. She's not marrying for resources. Apparently, she's marrying strictly for love. So if she's marrying strictly for love, then go for someone who's actually going to love you. Now, if she had said, hey, listen, I come from generations of poverty and I want to be, in a certain income bracket, and you know what? Hey, Chapman, you're a millionaire. I know you're not going to be faithful. We have made this decision. We'll have an open marriage. But hey, fine. That's their business. That's their business. But you're going on this show for this kind of process, right? So what the hell are you doing with, like you said, the Dusty, the Van Dusty? Are you, I mean, a Van Dusty, of all the Dusties, you got to get somebody living in a van. I mean, can he at least have a studio apartment across town? I mean, oh my God, this is just driving me insane. So, now that we have Combs, Lincoln, Danny B, and Judge left, is there anybody who thinks that she will wind up with Lincoln? I don't think she will. I think they're kind of keeping him around. I mean, she does like him. And I think that they're probably going to bust out all his business before he gets to be able to be chosen. But I mean, I don't think she'll wind up with him. What do you, yeah, you don't think so either. Yeah, I hope not. My God. But you know, it is for good TV. It is for good drama, right? But so anyway, listen, I don't even know what else to talk about at this point because I mean, how can you top off that ending? Like, how can you top that off? That's crazy. And the guy, whoever she winds up getting with, is there going to be like a whole bunch of drama once they see this, or they, well, probably they wouldn't have to wait for it to be aired, but I'm sure that they would find out. But you know, it's one thing to be on a show and to hear about stuff than to be on a show and now it's 4 months later, it's being aired and you got to sit down and watch, and all your friends and family have to watch her, like, you know, creeping off, or the guy creeping into her room 2 times. And I mean, I don't know. What did you say? I think Combs will see him as a threat and say something. You know, well, that's interesting because Combs, I was looking at Combs and I'm thinking, you know, he's a big guy. You know, he could take. Listen to me talking about fighting overseas. I'm not trying to get these people arrested. But the thing is that I feel like what Combs is trying to do is play the long game. Like, you know what? I'm going to be the stand-up guy and I'm not going to say nothing, even though I really, really want to. I'm going to let her see that because I always stay out of the drama and that I'm just solely focused on, I feel like that's the route he's going to take. Now, would it not be absolutely cathartic if Combs, or if anybody, were to basically spill the beans? I want to see it. I want to see it 100 times on Sundays, but I just don't know if he'll be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he's a big boy, right? I mean, he's big like Judge, you know, but Judge is a little bit more, you know, Judge's got like a 12-pack, right? Well, I don't know. Did we see him naked? Oh yeah, we did when he was doing like the axe throwing or something. I feel like he had his shirt off at some point. But anyway, I mean, but listen, whether he has a body like Judge or a body like Combs is complaining about his dad bod. His body is fine. He looks absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with him. And she doesn't seem like she's really obsessed into that anyway. And hopefully, but listen, now that I'm figuring out that she has a more whimsical, and I'm using whimsical to be nice here, fantasy-like sort of expectations in her relationship. I mean, listen, you want to be with someone that, you know, if you're talking about marriage and kids, of course you want to be with someone you're attracted to, but it can't be just like solely based off of that. And I know it's easier said than done when you're basically being laid out an entire, you know, buffet tray of like, you know, fineness, right? I know it's easy to say that because, you know, usually we're just looking for someone that is like we're attracted to and has the good qualities, but she's got the, you know, she's got the whole spread in front of her. She's got the king's, or the queen's feast, I should say. But she still has to think forward because, you know, Judge, with that nice body he has, he won't have it forever. You know, you got to be attracted. I remember I had a client one time. I used to be a hairstylist, so I still do hair, but not. I don't work in New York anymore. But so that was my longtime career. And I remember a client of mine saying to me one time, he was a therapist, and it was one of the most like, it just stuck in my mind. I remember I was single and I was very actively pursuing, and I was online and trying to find someone. And, you know, I had very specific things that I wanted from a person. And I remember him saying to me, you know, when you fall in love with a person, you need to fall in love with their mind. And yes, it makes sense. But when he said it, for some reason, it just kind of clicked because, you know, once I transitioned into nursing, and because I was like in the cosmetic end of, or the surgical cosmetic end of hairstyling, and then I transitioned into fully into the medical world. So, I would see so many patients that are sitting there and, like some of them are at the end of life. They're at they've been put on a hospice status. And, it would break our hearts because, we would be taking care of these patients for a couple of years and, it would be the patient that would never have any visitors and to die alone. And, a lot of times they have dementia. And when you see a person's mind degrade in a like a medical facility sort of environment, it really makes you think like, oh my God, what, like when I look for someone, you want to be with someone who's going to be there for you when you find out you got, a year to live, or, that you have early onset Alzheimer's. So falling in love with the mind is very important because even the mind eventually can go, right? As I was explaining with some of my patients. So, I just feel as though, hey guys, if you're enjoying the video, I forgot to mention, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, please, if you don't mind. We are going 49 minutes into this live. Oh my God, there was so much to talk about. But going back to that, I feel as though, what he said was so, it's stuck with me. And, looks are fleeting. So, even though you may not be attracted to someone the same way you were 20 years ago, but there's still something there that's so deep and it's so profound. And I don't know. I just feel like she has to think more along those lines, because what it looks like to me she wants to emulate is something like what her parents have. Her parents seem to be like it looks like somebody there was just a jar of sweetness in the sky and someone just picked them out like two little pieces of candy. Her parents are so sweet. They're just such wonderful people. And in order to get someone like that, you can't just be falling in love into the deep blueness of his eyes, right? It's got to be more than that. So, is this person going to be there for you when, you have a miscarriage, or is he going to be out at the bar with his friends or something like that, right? Yeah. Oh, isn't her family amazing? I just love them. So I just feel like she needs to be focused on the right things instead of the wrong things, right? So I have my fingers crossed for her. We don't usually get to see these sort of relationship shows play out like this. We cannot ignore the fact this is a woman of color. We don't usually get to see this. She comes from a two-parent family. Her mother's a physician. They're successful. They're very kind people. They're very open-minded people. Like, we see her, we don't get to see this every day. Not on TV. We know people like this, but we don't get to see this play out on the national stage, and we want her to win. So don't be dating somebody from, listen, I don't want to sound, I don't want to sound too bad here, but we got listen. You need to leave certain segments of society alone if you are trying to marry up and you're trying to. When I say marry up, I don't mean necessarily marry into like a prestigious family or anything like that, but you're trying to get to that goal, right? So make the right decision. So I believe is it going to be 13 episodes in total? I think so. This is episode 10 tonight, so we have 3 more episodes. So if she eliminate somebody each night, then maybe maybe it is 13 and we'll get to the end and we'll get to see who she's going to choose in another 3 weeks. And fingers crossed for that reunion, guys. Oh my God, if we get a reunion, that would be really good, because some of those men, oh my God, they were so shady. Can you just imagine, especially Nazaire, and a reunion? That would be too much. And what's the other guy? Was it Hatem doing the backflips and all of that stuff? Now, I did see that he was on somebody's interview, like on somebody's not webpage, somebody's YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken, doing an interview. I didn't click on it. I wasn't interested in what he had to say, but I thought, oh, okay, so we're doing the rounds now, like Ready to Love and, all in married. Well, I don't know if Married at First Sight people do the rounds like that, but that's kind of like the new trend now. They get eliminated from the dating shows and then they go onto YouTubers channels and, have conversations and stuff like that. Now, if it was somebody that really made it all the way through, like close to the end, I would be open to something like that. If you wanted to come over here and talk about, what the experience was like, that would be kind of interesting. But anyway, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, yes. Wouldn't that just be great? I feel like, the thing that makes me nervous about the reunion, AC, is that because of the fact that it's just that, we're getting a lot of episodes, and the fact that it was moved to another network, And then, well, not the fact that we got a lot of, well, let me reverse that. The fact that first it was moved to another network, and then secondly, that we're getting a nice amount of episodes. And then thirdly, the fact that it comes on at 11 o'clock at night, or at least it does where I live. I'm Pacific Standard over here on the West Coast. So, I mean, 11 o'clock at night is very late for a date show. I mean, that's like running into, competing with like late night talk shows and stuff like that. So I don't really understand that time slot, which makes me think that either it was not greenlit for another season yet, or they're still up in the air if they're going to do that again. So, I mean, if they were to do it again, I mean, I'd definitely watch it. I mean, I think it's a very interesting concept with a different cast, right? Maybe in a different country or something. Maybe they go to France, or maybe, I don't know. It doesn't have to just be Europe, but whatever. Well, maybe it would have to be if they're doing Regency, though, right? I guess it wouldn't make sense to go to Bangladesh for the Regency era, but you know what I mean? I'm just saying, I don't know. So yeah, let's see if we get that reunion. That just reminds me, I'm going to make a little note to myself, guys. I'm going to check out on my, let's see, on my DVR and see if there's a reunion episode. I didn't see anything, but I'm going to double check again, because if there is, oh, listen, that might be, I don't know. I can't promise a live on that one, because you rather go for gender parity and maybe more LARP. What's LARP? What's that? I don't know what that is. But yeah, so let's see. We'll check it out next week. So like LARPing, okay, like the actual cosplay type LARPing kind of stuff. So, okay, let's meet back next week, guys. What we'll do is, usually I have my videos out in the morning time. I was a little bit late today. My little boy he had a cold. So, we gotta do all the mommy stuff. So, I have my little soldier here today at home with me. But yeah, let's reconvene next week around the same time, usually around 9 o'clock-ish in the morning on, what's today? Thursday, so next Thursday. So everybody, please take care of yourselves, stay safe, take care. Did I say that? Oh, and if you did enjoy the video and you didn't get a chance to give it a thumbs up, please give it a thumbs up. Please share the video with your friends, because we are a very niche little group that are kind of into this historical stuff. I mean, we are a very specific crowd, I think. So, maybe if you have any other friends that are into historical things, then let them know. Turn on your notification bell, because if I'm able to give you a time that I'll be on live, an exact time, then I'll do that like I did today. And then that's it. All right, guys. I really enjoyed talking to you. Leave your comments in the comment section below if you didn't get a chance to let me know, what you were thinking or whatever. I'm so curious. I had so much fun. I should have had my tea set or something. I didn't know you guys were going to be talking like this. This was great. So anyway, all right, ladies, take care. See you next week. Stay safe. Che pisa lacho.